Welcome, fellow detectives. Welcome to Unlocked, the official podcast for all things Nancy Drew by Her Interactive. I am your host, Tammy Tuckey, and this week we welcome back Jennifer Fisher, of course, who is the owner of NancyDrewSleuth.com and the winner of the Her Interactive contest to attend the Savannah, Georgia Nancy Drew Convention for 2019. Liz Conley to the show. Welcome, you guys.
Thank you.
Let's jump right into it because, Jennifer, you usually are the brains and the amazingness behind these conventions. So how was the decision made to choose Georgia specifically this year?
Well, I think partly our inspiration was the wonderful Books on Bay bookstore located in downtown Savannah, run by the amazing Betsy. They have such an amazing selection of series books, including lots of Nancy Drew books. And a lot of our fans and other collectors often go through there and just love visiting her shop. And she and another local always wanted us to visit at some point. And I thought, it would be so much fun to have a fall convention in Savannah because it's so haunted. It's such to be one of the biggest haunted cities in the country. And I thought this is a perfect spooky setting for a fall convention. And then, the Her Interactive game, Ghost of Thornton Hall, was set on an island off the coast of Georgia. And I thought we could tie that in and just bring in some of the Nancy Drew ghost stories and other, themes to it. So that sort of started my inspiration. So I wanted this year to sort of use a couple of the classic books that aren't really set in a real life place. Our thing is kind of to go to like a location where there's a book actually set there so we can kind of follow in Nancy's footsteps. But this year, we didn't really have a specific theme book. So because one of our collectors owns a couple of the original Tandy illustrations for the book covers of Moss Covered Mansion and Secret in the Old Attic, he was bringing those up to display at the bookstore. And, we had a couple other collectors that brought in some paintings as well. And that kind of inspired me to do some events based on some classic Nancy Drew books and just sort of tie them in. So we had The Secret in the Old Attic, which is a big fan favorite book. So we had a mystery dinner that we made themed to The Secret in the Old Attic. And that was a way to kind of use that classic book and make it fun for fans. And then there's a Prohibition Museum in Savannah, and they have a speakeasy bar attached to it. And so I thought, that would be really fun to tie in The Password to Larkspur Lane, which isn't really a speakeasy Prohibition-related mystery, but it's set during that era. And some of the villainy that goes on in there could kind of tie in loosely or a mishmash with that sort of setting. So we kind of had this flapperish, fun mystery event at this museum and speakeasy. So we did some little things like that, which were different, that were fun for the fans to sort of tie in those classic books. And so I think everybody had a really good time doing that.
And speaking of fans, they, of course, Her Interactive does their competition or contest where they invite somebody to be able to get to experience one of the conventions. So, Liz, this is when we bring you in here to get to experience the convention. So have you ever attended one of the Nancy Drew conventions before, or this is your very first one?
This was my very first one, and it was so exciting for me because I've been a Nancy Drew fan since I was 11. And I'm 28 now, so that's been quite a few years. And I found out years ago that they would do conventions. And of course, like in middle school, high school, I can't afford to go to a convention. So it was kind of like a dream of mine, like one day I'll get to go to a convention and be with other fans and we'll talk about Nancy Drew. And then when I found out that I won the contest and I got to do that, I was just like shocked. Oh my God, I really get to go. So when we got there to the convention and we started doing all the activities and meeting everybody, it was just the most amazing experience. Everybody is so nice and welcoming and warm. And it's like a bunch of old friends you've known forever, except you've never met them before. And you just bond over Nancy Drew. And there's the gamers and the people that read the books, and of course people that like the shows and movies too. But I think for the most part, the people I talked to were a lot of book fans and the Nancy Drew game fans. And the really cool thing about it was we would do these activities together, and it was just everybody sharing their knowledge. I learned so much more about Nancy Drew that I never even knew. And it was just so cool that everybody was willing to share and teach each other and come together as this giant group of friends doing all these Nancy Drew activities together. It was like, oh my God, my Nancy Drew fan dreams came true.
That's so wonderful. I think for you and I as fans here, there's not a lot of, I guess it's kind of like a niche market now, wouldn't you say? Because not a lot of kids read books nowadays. I remember reading the Nancy Drew books, and then when the games came out, that was such a fun thing. But it's like, I sometimes bring it up in conversation that I get to work on this podcast, and some girls really light up, and they're around our age, and they know exactly what you're talking about. But it seems like a younger generation doesn't. So it's so nice to really be involved with other people who know exactly how you feel about the games and the books and the character itself, right? It's just something that's you don't get to experience very often.
Exactly. I think it's really special because, like, growing up, I didn't really have anybody besides my cousins that introduced the games to me. Besides them, I didn't have anybody that really knew about Nancy Drew, or they knew, but they didn't read or play the games. So this place was perfect. I mean, all we did was talk Nancy Drew the whole time, and it was so cool.
I'm glad about that. I'm glad. So you got to meet Jennifer, right?
Yes, and I just want to say she is the nicest, sweetest lady, and I'm so thankful for everything she has done for me.
I love meeting Liz. She was so sweet herself and just so happy and bubbly and had such a great personality, and I absolutely loved meeting her. I'm so glad she won the contest and got to come. I think everybody really loved meeting her. So, yeah, we were excited about it.
Well, thank you. I was so excited to be there and meet everybody.
Yeah, and I hope you get to come again, because I'd like to see you again. That was fun. We didn't get to chat a lot, so I'd love to be able to chat more and hang out with you more.
Oh, me too. I mean, you kept us so busy. I hardly had time to sleep.
I know, isn't it crazy? It's like go, go, go. We get there and we go, go, go. But she's so right. I mean, one thing I love about these conventions is how much fun all the fans have. And it's like she said, we don't all know each other. I mean, some of us do because we've been to these a few times together. But, we might see each other on Facebook or our social media, but getting together in person, it's like almost like a family reunion with people, even though you may not have met them. You just get along so well because we have so much in common. And I think that's what's so much fun about these conventions. It doesn't matter what is going on in your life or in the world and all those, things that divide people out there in the world. You can get together at one of these conventions and everybody's pretty much on the same page. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some people that are more original Nancy fans versus more modern Nancy fans. But you know what? We get along really well and we have a really good time. So it's so much fun to see all the fans and what they're enjoying and what they're collecting, and also provide, information for those that are just starting out. Like Betsy had all these great checklists at her bookshop to help some of the newer fans, with their collecting and to learn more about the different books. And so that was really cool.
How many people do you think you guys had total?
We had 108 that were registered. And I'm not sure if any more, came to the bookstore during some of our events there. But yeah, we had over 100 fans. And so that was exciting.
So what did you guys do for meals? Did you guys have themed meals as well? Or, a banquet hall? Or were there ways for everybody to be able to sit with at least somebody different every night?
Yeah. So some of our events did include meals. Like, for example, our meet and greet, we had like desserts and there was a cash bar. But then Thursday night when we had the speakeasy party, there was dinner there and people could just mingle and move around. There were tables and you could kind of wander about and just mingle with everybody. And then the bookstore sponsored a box dinner Friday. So everybody picked up they did the cutest bag that had Nancy Drew and the skyline of Savannah on it. It was so cute. And they had these great box dinners everybody could pick up and take and, go off with and sit with whoever they wanted and visit. And then, we had our mystery dinner Friday night or Saturday night. And, I just kind of let open seating so everybody could kind of sit with whoever they wanted. Sometimes we do like assigned seating, but with so many new people this year, I think like 3/4 of our people that attended were all new to the conventions. And so that was really exciting to have so many new people. I wasn't sure how to put people together necessarily, so I just let people kind of sit with whoever they wanted. And, I think people kind of moved around some, and that was cool. I think throughout the week during times when we didn't have scheduled like meals or things like that, people kind of hung out in their groups and just, ate around the downtown area and visited and did their touring of the local sites. And so people just really enjoyed themselves.
Let's get back into like some of the games and things that you guys got to do. So Liz, can you tell me one of the favorite things you got to do as an activity with other individuals there?
Oh, probably either we did, I can't remember exactly what it was called, but we had to walk around Savannah and look for silhouettes of Nancy Drew in the windows. And then we'd have to write down on a pad of paper, like what stores you saw them in. And there was a certain number that you had to find. And we didn't know how many Nancy Drew silhouettes there were. And then, you'd break off in your groups, look around, and then you had till like 4:30 or something to bring back your notepad with your number of Nancy Drew silhouettes you found. And the prize, I believe, was like a gift card to Books on Bay, so you could get some Nancy Drew books. So my group and I, we had a blast doing that one. We walked around all day. My calves were on fire. Like, we were Nancy Drew. We were going to find these silhouettes. And it was just really fun just walking around and trying to find them. And, some sneaky hidden ones. You felt like, oh, yeah, I did something good. I found that one. Or even like the dinner that we did on Saturday night, where it was the themed mystery dinner, and we had Jen and some of the other sleuths had done skits to reenact like parts of Larkspur Lane, the Old Attic, not Larkspur Lane, where they had reenacted that. And then we had clues on our table, and we had to unlock this box on another table based on the skit and the clues on our table. So that was a blast too, because any chance you get to solve a mystery or figure something out is just like the best thing ever for a Nancy Drew fan, I think.
Jennifer, how do you kind of put these activities together for everyone and kind of structure them out so that they're, full and complete? Because it just sounds so complicated and a lot to do.
Yeah, that is a big part of it. So we like to sort of add like just some sort of activity to every event if we can. Because, we know the fans from either the books or the games love to do the puzzles and the activities and solve the mysteries. So for example, like at our meet and greet, we usually have some of the helpers that kind of create icebreaker games for people to get to know each other. And, then we decided it would be lots of fun. This particular there, and what she was talking about with the silhouettes was that Books on Bay sponsored that, and they created this sort of scavenger hunt type game where they put all these silhouettes around in local businesses in the area in the windows, and everybody had to go find them. And I think there was like 45 of them total. And I think maybe our winning team found about 40 of the 45. So yeah, that presented a nice challenge to go and find all these little Nancy Drew silhouettes. Every mystery dinner we have, we like to have some sort of mystery or like just challenge for people to do. And so we kind of combined it with like an escape room type challenge. And so everybody had to sort of get into this box because, in the mystery, in the secret of the old attic, they're looking for this missing sheet music. And there's this intruder that's in this house and he's looking for it as well. And there's all these spiders in the book, and it just kind of added this sort of spooky atmosphere. So we created this game where you had to get into the box to get the missing music scrolls. And so they had to figure out all these clues from the skits and all the stuff that was on the tables, and to get the combination to open the box to save the day before all the spiders and everything got you. So it was kind of funny, but and we had skits with some of our members that were playing different characters from the book. And so, as I'm planning these, I kind of try to think of what we can do, and I go through the theme books or use the games or whatever we're using as a theme to kind of come up with something. And we also did our Sleuth Survivor challenge this year. It kind of was funny because it kept getting put off due to foibles and stuff that were going on to detour us from doing it. But we finally did the challenge. But we call it Sleuth Survivor, and it's kind of like the TV show Survivor. So we have sleuth tribes, we call them, and everybody has a buff, and they break into teams, and they do a 3-part challenge to win a prize. And so ours was we were going to do it near the cemetery when we did the cemetery tour, but it didn't work out. We ended up doing it near the hotel on this lawn area. But basically everybody had to break into little subgroups within their tribe, and they all had to complete different parts of the challenge. So they had to find parts to skeletons and put the skeleton together because it was all broken up into pieces. And then once they returned the skeleton to me, then they got a bag of eyeballs, which had letters on the back of the eyeballs they had to unscramble. And then when they unscrambled it, they had to go find a tombstone with that word written on the back of it. So we had tombstones spread out. And so then once the whole tribe brought the tombstone back to me, they won the challenge. And so that was fun. Sometimes we do Sleuth Survivor where we have puzzles and they have to decode things using a little decoder. And so we do stuff like that too. But it's a lot of fun to play Sleuth Survivor. And so the big prize for Sleuth Survivor is what we call Sleuth Bucks, which are like a certificate you can mail in at your next convention to save money off your registration. So yeah, so we had lots of little things going on during the week that people could do. So it was a lot of fun.
The Sleuth Survivor was really fun. I know, in my group, I had done the part with the eyeballs, and I was just tickled to death. I thought that was so much fun because I love word games and anagrams. So figuring out what that word was fun for me. And then too, there was another mystery that I don't think we mentioned yet. At the Speakeasy, there was a little mystery when we walked in there where we got a clue on a card. And that was really fun too. Me and my friends that I had met at the convention, we banded together and then we were like gung-ho, like we are going to solve this. And I thought that was so much fun. It was you were looking for posters on the wall based on, or it wasn't even always on the wall either. There was one in a trunk and one on a car too. And you got your card when you walked in. It gave you a hint. And then you would kind of walk around the museum and look, go hint to hint to find your prize at the end. And you got to pick a book and you got a praline. And oh my God, I just had a blast with that too.
Yeah, everybody really got into it. And I think that's what's so much fun about it is we have the great dinner. There's this beautiful atmosphere at the old Pink House. It was this downtown old home that they converted into this restaurant. And it's just beautiful. And then we had our fun decorations, and then we had the mystery, and then a lot of people were in costume, which makes it kind of helps bring the book alive, and it makes it more fun for everybody.
Liz, if you could describe this type of event to somebody who's a Nancy fan and has never been to a convention before, how would you go ahead and describe it?
Well, I think it was way more fun than I could have ever anticipated. And I anticipated it was going to be very fun. So going to these conventions, I think it's a really special thing where, I was kind of nervous. So I wouldn't know anybody besides my husband. And, immediately at the meet and greet, I had Sharon come up to me. She says, "Hi, I'm Sharon. Hey, Liz, what's your favorite book?" And boom, we're friends now. And then we met Susan, and same thing, we're friends. And we met Austin, and we're friends. And now I have a texting group with these people. I mean, that's how close we became, so quickly. I mean, I made these friends with kindred spirits, and we had the most fun doing Nancy Drew things, and going to the bookstore was such a highlight. I mean, I know that's not at every convention, but just for my activities, everybody loved going to the bookstore and seeing the beautiful artwork that were the covers of the books, and then actually getting to buy the books too, because I have Nancy Drew books, but it wasn't until recently that I kind of realized how many different editions and this and that there are to collect. I kind of just had yellow spines to read the stories, and I was really excited to go to the bookstore because I got an older copy of a book, and I can't tell you what edition because I don't remember what it was, but it just had a beautiful dust jacket on it, and I was really excited to have this special book for myself to bring home. And going to do the other activities, the mysteries, was just fantastic. Even before we got to the convention, planning for the convention, because everything, well, not everything, but some of the dinners are themed and you get to plan your outfit. And that's really exciting. When you get there, everybody looks so nice and put together, and the convention events are so well put together and well thought out. Everything was just a blast. I was having the time of my life there.
It made a dream come true. There you go, Jennifer. Look at that.
Yes, it was great.
And you, because I was looking at the site, you are all planned out. You are perfect to a T, Jennifer, on getting these conventions out there. So the next one is in NYC, right? I think that's what the decision was, or?
Well, yeah. So what we were going to do is have, because the next year's the 90th anniversary, which is pretty cool. We were going to go to Hawaii in April for the anniversary, but we had a snafu with the cruise part. So we were going to do like some stuff on land and then do a cruise around the 4 islands that also tie into some of the books. But the cruise got canceled when we needed to do it, and it messed everything up. So because of all these scheduling conflicts and time conflicts and issues with that, we're going to put Hawaii off till 2021. So what we're going to do instead next year, what we've decided, is several things. So we're going to have like a little mini weekend, mystery weekend in February in Salt Lake City. They just opened a Nancy Drew escape room at one of those escape room venues. And they licensed with Simon & Schuster, and they have this whole cool Nancy Drew escape room. And so we're going to tie in just a weekend, mystery weekend with that in February. I haven't figured out the dates yet. But then in April, for the 90th, for the anniversary, we're going to do New York City and New Jersey to tie into the history behind everything and bring in the publishers and some of the companies that license that are all located around that area. And also the people doing the Nancy Drew Broadway play. So we're looking to have like a special Broadway showing or performance for all the fans that come. And so it's just going to be a lot of fun. And then in the summer, in July, there's going to be a little mini mystery weekend in Toledo, Ohio. You may not know this, Tammy, but I haven't exactly announced it totally publicly, but I did at the convention. I'm donating my Nancy Drew collection to the Toledo Public Library. And they have a mystery room they created in their recent renovation of the whole downtown library in the children's section. They're going to house my collection in. And so they're going to do a big party and showing and have all this fanfare going in July. So we're going to do a little mini mystery weekend thing there to tie in with that. And then we're going to have another fall convention, which we're really excited about. And I know Her Interactive is going to be thrilled as well. We're going to go to Salem in October. And so it'll tie in with the Midnight in Salem game. So, yeah, so we're really excited about all the events we're going to plan next year.
And you're going to keep this updated on your site, correct? It's
Yes.
ndsleuth.com, and then you can click conventions at the top to get additional information.
Yes. Yeah, so I've got to update that. And then we're transitioning from ND Sleuths. We're going to keep that for a while, but we're transitioning to our new website, which is nancydrewfans.com. And so we've started that kind of process. But yeah, we'll have all of our details. We also have it sort of planned out for future years, although I've got to do the switcheroo for Hawaii and update those things. So yeah, so as soon as probably this weekend, we'll get that updated with all of our current information. But yeah, so we're going to have lots of opportunities next year for fans to attend something and celebrate the 90th anniversary.
I'm hoping to make the New York City one. That would be so great to finally meet you and maybe meet you, Liz, too.
I know. Yeah. I want to go to all of these. I'm like, how am I going to save up all this money?
I know. It's crazy. how many things are going on next year. I think the 90th is just going to be so much fun for fans because we hope to inspire them to collect. We hope to teach them more about the history behind the books and just celebrate all things Nancy Drew. So we're going to have lots of fun next year.
And finally, I kind of want to end with our 5 locked clues. Now, Jennifer, we did this with you, I think, almost 2 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long since I last talked to you. But I thought we'd give Liz a shot with these. So
yes, let's do it.
Yes. So number 1, what was your first Nancy Drew Her interactive game?
Message in a Haunted Mansion.
There we go. I'm glad to hear that. That was me too. Number 2, your favorite Nancy Drew Her interactive game.
Well, this one's really hard because I think it's like a 3-way tie. I really love Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake and Danger on Deception Island and Treasure in a Royal Tower. So it's kind of like they all compete with each other because I can't pick just one.
Number 3, who are you going to call? Ned Dickerson, the Hardy Boys, or Bess and George?
Always Bess and George.
Number 4, what place from one of Nancy's past cases would you like to visit and see for yourself?
I think probably Wickford Castle. That was a really fun setting.
And finally, our last question. What character besides Nancy and her friends do you think you would get along with if you got to meet them in person?
Okay, I'd probably have to go with Professor Hotchkiss because she was a hoot. She was just so much fun, and she was smart, but she was like kind of wacky too. Like she just couldn't remember your name, but she was just a good character. I really liked her.
Well, girls, thank you so much for being on the show this week. I hope you had a happy Halloween. And as I said before we started recording, make sure you eat all of your Halloween candy. Don't leave one piece unturned.
Oh, yes, it was fun. And I enjoyed talking with you again. I can't believe it's been this long. I forgot it was like 2017, wasn't it?
I know. I was hoping to get to this convention this past time, but it just didn't work. But I'm hoping the NYC one works, and maybe Hawaii.
Yeah, I hope so.
I'll let you know if I hit the jackpot, and then Liz, Jen, and I will all go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yay!